Good afternoon. Here is the national news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the national news. Remove petrol subsidy immediately, El-Rufai tells Buhari government. Don't let Nigeria become another Afghanistan, Afenifere tells FG. FG suggests 8-week mandatory course for newly elected Labour leaders. Still on the headlines, insecurity or your government seeks US help. And to Ogun, abducted blind woman regain freedom. Lastly on sports, Portugal versus Nigeria. Super Eagles camp bubbles with 20 players in camp already. Now the news in detail. Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State has urged the federal government to immediately remove the subsidy of petrol. El-Rufai spoke at the State of the State session at the ongoing NESG yesterday in Abuja. When asked during the session that what should be the priority of the government, the governor said remove fuel subsidy immediately. The governor said his colleagues across the federation had agreed that the subsidy on petrol should be removed in September 2021. El-Rufai said, under this administration, we have met religiously almost every month, but because we have only one economy. We took a decision to remove subsidy in September 2021. The Minister of Finance also agreed. We agreed that the money from there should be channeled into health, education, and infrastructure. El-Rufai's comment is coming at a time the price of Premium Motor Spirit (PMS), also known as fuel, jumped to 190 naira per litre from 165 naira per litre in Abuja. In some states, the price has gone up to 200 and over. This is despite the federal government spending over 2.04 trillion naira on fuel subsidy in the country. Moving to the next story, the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere has expressed serious concern on the frequency of kidnap incidents in the southwest, especially on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in recent times. In a press release issued by the body's National Publicity Secretary, Comrade Jare Ajayi, Afenifere stated that the frequency and ferocity of kidnapping in the area these days are engendering so much concern regarding the territorial expansion of terrorists and bandits. Afenifere recalled the kidnap near Dominion University and Shagamu interchange on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in the past weeks. The report of burning of the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Abeokuta, Ogun State, and Ede, Osun State at the weekend also disturbed Afenifere because of the implication it may have on the 2023 elections, among others, as had happened in some southern eastern states. Unauthorized burning of any property is condemnable by all standards. The fact that this type of arson reared its head in the southwest is unacceptable. It should be thoroughly investigated and made to be the last of such occurrence. There should be no excuse whatsoever to put the 2023 general elections in jeopardy, Ajayi fumed. Moving to the next story. The federal government has proposed a mandatory 8-week course at the Michael Imodu National Institute of Labour Studies (MINILS) for all newly elected Labour leaders in the country. Senator Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour and Employment, said this during a budget defense of the ministry and parastatal agencies before the House of Representatives Committee on Labour on Monday in Abuja. The training is necessary to acquaint the Labour leaders with the laws guiding trade unionism and trade dispute resolution in the country, along with the conventions of the International Labour Organization (ILO). The mandatory training will also enable the union to know the limits of their powers and where the powers of their employers stopped, he said. He also said that some union leaders were disobeying his ministry and even the labor laws of the country because they lack the basic training on the laws and their application. A lot of people who answer labor and union leaders are not trained in the labor laws of the country, including those who are professors. They disrespect labor laws, they disrespect the labor ministry, labor committees, and everybody. Otherwise, you see people who are educated and knowledgeable, and they are telling you that Section 43 of the Trade Dispute Act TDA 2004, laws of the Federation of Nigeria is not applicable to them or anybody. Moving to Oyo State. Oyo State government on Monday sought the assistance of the United States to tackle insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in the state. The state's deputy governor, Adebayo Lawal, asked for the assistance on behalf of Governor Seyi Makinde while receiving the new U.S. Consul General William Stevens at the Executive Council Chamber of the Governor's Office, Ibadan. Lawal, who observed that insecurity was becoming endemic in Nigeria, said Oyo State would welcome whatever technology required to combat the menace. Initially, we thought we could localize this issue of security, but it has become a hydra-headed phenomenon. If you choose to assist, you can be deliberate, and we will encourage you to assist and partner with the Oyo State government in the area of security, he said. On effort made so far to address the insecurity, Lawal said, "We know security is key, and we have really deployed a greater percentage of resources into security development. Since the inception of this administration, we have put in place an outfit called Amotekun to complement the efforts of our conventional security outfit, police, Department of State Security, and others that are national in nature." Moving to the next story from Ogun State. Ogun State Police Command has confirmed the release of a visually impaired lady, Anna Okwemi, by abductors 11 days after. The Police Public Relations Officer in the state, SP Abimbola Oyeyemi, disclosed this through a phone conversation with our correspondent on Monday. The lady was abducted last week Friday during an attack on a legal practitioner, Sani Boladale, in front of his house at Shoyoye, Abeokuta. She was taken away after they failed to abduct the lawyer, who was said to be their target. 11 days after, the kidnappers, however, were freed on Sunday evening after some amount of money was paid to them. When asked to confirm the release of the victim, Okoyemi said she was released by her abductors. He, however, denied payment of any money to the kidnappers. Moving on to the last story on sports. 20 players are now in Super Eagles camp in Lisbon ahead of the international friendly against Portugal senior national team. Goalkeepers Adebayo Adeleye and Maduka Okoye, as well as Wilfred Ndidi and Moses Simon, linked up with their teammate in camp on Monday night. The remaining 3 players, Francis Uzoho, Cyril Desas, and Samuel Chukwueze, are expected to hit the camp on Tuesday, today. The team had their first training session on Monday night. 16 players took part in the exercise under the guidance of head coach Jose Pesero. The Super Eagles team will take on Portugal in Lisbon on Thursday. 20 players in camp: Adeleye Ekong, Ndidi, Iwobi, Onyemachi, Akpoguma, Etebo, Duru, Dennis, Onuachu, Lukman, Basi, Aribo, Eboyi, Onyeka, Murphy, Awazim, Bright, Simon, Okoye, expected Uzo, Dezes, and Chikwueze. That wraps it up on the national news this hour from Baba Bagede Imo TV, popularly known as BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Remove petrol subsidy immediately, El-Rufai tells Buhari government. Don't let Nigeria become another Afghanistan, Afenifere tells FG. FG suggests 8-week mandatory course for newly elected Labour leaders. We're also brought to you from Southwest, or your government seeks UL's help concerning security. Finally, Portugal, Nigeria, Super Eagles camp bubbles with 20 players already in camp. For more stories and updates on YouTube, our handle is Babagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22 for advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and function. Please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placement only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Good afternoon and have a lovely day ahead.